and also to talk about your experiences, you know, your point of view on this, as a way to reinforce the concepts last week, because we barely scratched the surface. No, last week we barely started unit 2. No, language. I mean, classroom-based language assessments. No, which is I mean, basically what our job is. No, because most of us work in classrooms. No, with in school, high school, and so we need to prepare lots and lots of language assessment and language assessment tasks. No? And so, okay, so what I have here, and I'm going to ask Abby if you could please, Abby, share this document, Unit 2, classroom-based assessment, and share with us page 2, no? Because we have a graph there. We have a graph there, and which asks 3 questions, no? And those are the questions that I want you guys to reflect on. And thank you very much. And in order to explain better, in order for you to follow the topic here, if you guys can open, well, maybe in your cell phone, or if you have another dispositivo, another device, I sent you this. I sent you a language assessment for classroom teachers, Unit 2 in PDF, because the concepts that we're going to see are on pages 8 to 10 and 11, maybe. No? And so, because we cannot open 2 documents in Zoom at the same time, but or if you want to alternate and show this document and then a little bit of the other one, that's well, as you guys wish, no, as you prefer. Yeah. So I ask you guys, no, what is language teaching? No, what is language teaching? What do we teach? No? What can you tell me first from your point of view? No, you don't need to see any document. You don't need to see any book. Just what you think, you know, because most of you are already teachers. So, and anybody, please?
No.
Yes.
Yes. Well, for me, language teaching is the when you as a teacher teach students the grammar part, the grammatical parts, the most important parts to know when you are learning a new language. Maybe some rules that needs to be studied. That need to be studied. Sorry. Maybe some using some strategies to let the students learn about the topic.
Exactly. No. Yeah. You have just thank you very much. You have just pointed out something very important at the end of your participation. No? Strategies. No. You said no. Basically, show students strategies. Teach them, redundando, no, teach them strategies so that they can learn the language that is the target, right? For example, in this case, English. Okay, so and that's the most important part, no? And that's what that maybe is the difference, the main difference with language assessment, no? Because in language assessment, basically, it's the same description, no? Except that in language assessment, the purpose is to collect information about our students in order to make decisions, no, that can help them improve and make you improve as a teacher, your instruction, your performance in class, etc. No? Yeah, thank you. So I'm just going to quote something that we have in the book. No, you can check this later. It's on page 8. No, the purpose of the language teaching, no, and the purpose of the learning tasks is to help students learn the language that you are teaching. No? So that's the purpose. Help kids learn the language that you are teaching. And that means that you engage your students in language teaching learning tasks in order to help them improve their language ability. No? So the purpose is to help them improve language ability and also to learn about the strategies that they can use. Okay, present them with a variety of activities, you know, that will help them develop their understanding of the language and how it works, right? So, of course, it's a huge concept, no? Language teaching, que debería ser propiamente language teaching, no? I mean, language learning, teaching learning, no? Because those two words, learning, teaching, are always, should be always together, no? Right. Thank you very much. Now, and what is language assessment? If somebody could please help us with language assessment.
Is the techniques used by the teacher to evaluate the proficiency of his or her students in when they are using another language, whereas it is for communicating their ideas in speaking or writing, or it can be to know how well they listen or how much they can understand from a text. So
Yes.
that's for me language assessment.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. No. Thank you very much. So sometimes these two terms might be, can be, you know, sorry, a little confusing, right? Because basically, in both, no, in language teaching and language assessment, you present students with tasks, no, that they have to do. Pero en lo que varía is in the purpose, no? Because the purpose of assessment is to collect information about your students' language ability, okay? To determine how much they have learned. What you just said, no? You want to measure how much they learned, for example, in grammar, in reading, in maybe in listening, of course, right? And then the ultimate purpose is, what do we do with this information? Because every time that we assess, we collect information about our students, for example, performance, our student abilities, etc. No? And of course, the information you collect should be ultimately used to make decisions, no, on the basis of your classroom-based assessments, no, because you have to decide what you want to do. No, for example, if you assess on a particular topic and your students get, for example, 4/10, no, as an average. So 4/10 means that the students didn't understand the topic, no, and basically as a teacher, no, well, that's maybe debatable, but if you have a class that scored 4, maybe the test, or maybe the way that you presented the test, or maybe, I don't know, the procedures, or no, should be changed. No, so it means that you cannot score all your students with 4/10. No, something is wrong there. No, and so you need to make decisions on how for example, I mean, you're going to change your instruction. Maybe it's the students, the way that you presented the topics, maybe, or maybe it's the test. No, you elaborated the test without considering the, you know, the principles, no, validity, reliability, instructions, everything. No? And so, well, that's another complete chapter, no, decisions made on the basis of classroom-based assessment, which here is on pages 10 to 13, more or less, no. Ahí nos incluye, for example, formative decisions, summative decisions, no. Very interesting information that I encourage you guys to read after class, no, over the week. You can read all chapter 2 is really interesting. No, I'm going to see if I can find chapter 3 or 4 maybe in PDF, because it's easier that way. No? So because you're going to have more than a week, no, holidays, maybe it's a good opportunity to catch up on your reading, no, and read this book. It would be very useful for you. Great. And so, and I need a volunteer for question number 3. What are the similarities and differences between language teaching and language assessment? If you want to help yourself with some information, if you have the book at hand, is page 10, no, or the PDF, no, page 10. Anybody, no, please.
Language teaching is referred to the instructions of the words and grammar of a different language, and language assessment, and is something that you could realize if the student, what the student learned, what are their abilities, and also refer to the evaluation process in order to check how much our students know about language.
Yes. Great, thank you very much. Yeah, you have a pretty clear idea of how these two terms differ, no? En qué difiere. And of course, well, not only, I mean, they differ in their conception, but also it's important to point out that on the other hand, you know, they inform each other, no? As we can see in the book on page 10, no? One informs the other, no? For example, language teaching informs classroom-based language assessment. For example, in defining the areas of language ability that you want to assess, no? And second, the kinds of assessment tasks that you use will generally be based on the teaching learning tasks that you use in the classroom. So that is that if you teach something in particular, the way that you assess or the items that you would prepare for assessment will be based on what you have taught in class. No? And so, although these two these concepts are different, but they at the same time they interact, no, one with the other. Mm-hmm. And so on page 10, if you, well, later you can see that, or if Abby can help us and display page 10 of the PDF, it could be very useful. if you can help us with that, it would be great. Yeah, and so
Sorry, before continuing, would you mind repeating the name of the PDF? Is it the one that you share with us?
Yeah,
The one that
I
says
sure.
alternatives in assessment. That one.
No, let me see. Let me check my WhatsApp, and I'll tell you which one. Alternatives in assessment. Alternatives in assessment. No, classroom-based language. No, I sent you on December 17th. After the photos, first I took some pictures, but they were not very clear. Then I checked my material and I found classroom-based language, no? Classroom-based language. Yeah, and so if you open that, it should be it should be the third page. The third page. Yeah.
All right, I check.
Yeah, if you can check that one, would be great. Yeah. So what we are going to see here in this document is un cuadro, no? Where you have teaching and assessment. And so if you analyze the chart, there are similarities. No, that one exactly, this page. No, similarities. For example, that in both we have the same participants. No, we have teachers and students in assessment. No? About the task requirement in teaching, teachers present the learning tasks. No, pero aquí no está evaluando. No, the teacher is only presenting, and of course, it depends on the teacher's ability, you know, to use all his expertise, you know, with a variety of with alternatives, you know, in teaching, you present the topic in different ways, no? But you only present the learning task to the students. In assessment, the teacher presents the assessment task to students, no? So, for example, if you're doing some oral assessment, you explain, no? Or if it's in paper, the same. In the paper, you specify exactly what students need to do, no? In both, students engage, no? Of course, in tasks that require them to use language. So that's a very strong similarity, no? Yeah, because in both, you need students to use the language, no? Even if they're only learning, no? Even if they're learning passively, but at some point, they have to show that they're engaged in the activity. They have to listen. They have to maybe write something. And in assessment, it's basically the same. No? And then in the last part, you find differences. No? The purpose of the task in teaching is to promote or facilitate learning, and also to enhance or improve learners' development, no? Learners, for example, linguistic, cognitive, emotional, and social development. You want them that based, no, on a variety of things that they do in class, no? With your instruction, no? They not only learn something about the language, but also they develop, no? Cognitively, emotionally, socially, and linguistically. No? So that maybe this is a more complete definition of the purpose of the teaching tasks. And in assessment, you know, the sole purpose, you know, is to collect samples of a student's performance. You know? Y ahí faltaría in order to make decisions, you know, that will help them improve. Well, decisions that will help you, you know, make decisions on what it is that you need to change, no? And what it is that you want to maybe readapt or reconsider. It could be maybe your style, your instruction. It could be the teaching tasks maybe are not appropriate, or you may decide, for example, to give them feedback, or you need to get your students more engaged in their own learning. You need to be maybe more inspiring, more resourceful. You may need to place your students into different groups, or maybe you want to divide them or put them in circles, or change the way that they do a certain task. And ultimately, of course, y también está la decisión, the summative decision, that maybe at the end of the course, you have to decide if you're going to pass the student or if you're going to fail them. That's also part of the decisions. Decisions. Great. Yeah. And so maybe if we can finish this section with explaining. Thank you very much. You can also download this and maybe go to the next page, page 11, just to look at the purpose of the decisions. Purpose of the decision, because we have formative decisions, we have summative decisions, and in this PDF, it's on the next page. Yeah, where the author explains that all decisions that you make are divided into basically two groups, because and they are divided on their by their purpose. One is formative decisions. Formative decisions. If you can scroll down this and go to the next page so students can see that. Formative decisions, from the book, it says, are decisions that lead to activities that are intended to improve instruction and learning. Remember that what formative is, like formative assessment, everything that you do in order to form your students, que tengan una mejor formación. Por eso es formative, It comes from the verb forming, molding students, And so the decisions that lead to, so formative decisions are decisions that lead to activities that are intended to improve instruction and learning. And if you continue with the reading here, you have 4 examples of this. One, this involves making changes in teaching and learning tasks, maybe in the teaching material or in the teaching syllabus. So you might want to consider what is wrong. Maybe the syllabus, maybe the tasks, maybe the materials. Second, these formative decisions involve providing feedback to students. So once you have tested, digamos, or you have assessed a particular topic with the information you collect, you prepare feedback, you provide them with feedback. 3, involve placing students into different levels to facilitate instruction and learning. Well, this is not very, we have to be realistic. It's something that in most schools we cannot do. We cannot place students in different levels or decirles that you are more advanced than these and these students. But maybe it can help you to decide that you're going to put 1 or 2 advanced students with a group, with a group of 5, so that these 2 can help the group, right? Maybe in that way. And then they can be made. These decisions can be made before, during, or after the process of teaching and learning. Before, during, after the process of teaching and learning. So it's okay. You collect information, and the thing is that you have to implement the changes that are required. And about summative decisions, those are decisions that are aimed at 2 purposes. So there are 2 clear purposes here. One is advancement. So making sure that the students who advance to the next level or course are prepared to benefit from instruction at the next level. and you have to make sure that the students who don't advance will benefit from receiving additional instructions at the same level, ¿no? O sea, asegurarse de que van a repetir porque en verdad necesitan repetir, ¿no? In other words, ¿no? And then summative decisions is used for certification. ¿No? That's when you're working with these levels, no, A1, A2, and they have this exam, and you need to the school needs to extend a certificate of this. No? But for example, this is not our case. No, in most schools, students don't have, no, they don't have to take this test. But maybe in some private schools, no. I know that in some schools, students are required to take the test, no? And many will get their certification. That's another of the summative decisions. Okay, so can you hear me? Do you have any questions?
No, Prof, it's all clear.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. Anyway, no, like I said, I was because you have this PDF. Read it, no, read it. I just explained 1 or 2 pages, but the topic is really interesting, and it has graphs, and it has questions for you to reflect. At the end, you have a summary. I think it's in total, I think it's 10 pages, but it's really interesting. And the way that is presented in the book is very, very, very clear. Okay, so thank you. Now, okay, so now, I don't know if, Abby, is your account unlimited? Can we count on having no limit here, or?
No, it's not.
It's not unlimited, no? Because it's almost 30 minutes. So maybe I suggest that we close this session, no, and then we start a new one. And in those 40 minutes, maybe we can have 3 groups presenting, no, and then in the next session we can have the other 3 groups, no.
Okay.
And so as you close you close the session, group 1, no. Who's group 1, by the way, Abby? So group 1 will have to get ready, no, for their presentation.
Yes, Mayra Macías, Quiñones David, Miranda Jennifer, and Monar Diego.
And Monar, yeah, great. So those 4 students, 4 or 5, please, we're going to close the session now. So you have a couple of minutes to get ready, and when we resume the class, then you do your presentation, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Abby, close this session, wait 1 minute, and then open a new session.
Okay, Prof.
Thank you very much.